They told you order was the child of virtue, that if everyone behaved, the world would soften. But look closer. Order has a different parent. Calculation. It does not ask. It arranges. It does not plead. It designs. You feel it in the small delays that make you grateful for what you already paid for. In the email that says great work, while the budget quietly disappears. In the rules that promise fairness while burying you in clauses. The world smiles, yes, but the smile is leather over steel. They will tell you fear is primitive, unworthy of a civilized age. And yet when love wavers, fear pays on time. Affection is warm, but it wanders. Dread is cold, but it returns. Power learns this early. It keeps the temperature just low enough to make you reach for a coat. Its coat. You've met the soft voice that never threatens, only clarifies. You've stood in rooms where nothing is decided, and yet everything is decided. Where politeness is the wallpaper and anxiety is the foundation. You don't see the machine because it uses you as a gear. It learns your rhythms, then taxes them. And in that silence, the truth whispers. The paradox is simple. Those who seem the gentlest often govern through gradients of uncertainty. Not public punishments, but private weather. A missed call here, a delayed approval there, a rumor that you might be out of alignment. Threats are crude. Atmospheres are efficient. The velvet glove doesn't hide the iron. It polishes it until you can see yourself reflected, smiling, compliant, grateful. But what if fear doesn't scream? What if it hums? A low frequency that makes the room feel tilted, the floor uncertain, your voice slightly too loud. You correct yourself. You self-regulate. You become useful. Here's the part no one dares to admit. Fear is not merely a tool of tyrants. It is the quiet accountant of institutions. It balances what praise cannot gar. It keeps schedules. It disciplines growth. It is the hidden metric behind culture. And yet, the truth is darker. Fear can be mistaken for respect. The two look similar from a distance. Both produce obedience, both keep order, both stabilize plans. But respect is an earned gravity. Fear is an installed gravity. One draws you in, the other pins you down. When a system tells you it values initiative, watch how it responds to dissent. When it says it rewards excellence, watch who defines excellence. When it claims safety, measure the price. The promise of security is a transaction. The collateral is your unpredictability. And in that silence, the truth whispers. So you begin to see how loyalty calcifies. You don't stay because you love. You stay because leaving is fog, and fog is costly. Dread is not terror. Terror mobilizes. Dread is gentle. It immobilizes. It teaches you to choose small over unknown, repeatable over real. In this way, the iron world keeps its glove soft by training you to caress it. This is the opening paradox, the first cut. Power does not raise its voice. It raises your uncertainty. The leash is woven of almosts, almost promoted, almost chosen, almost safe. And you, in gratitude for nearly, lower your eyes from the horizon to the floor. Fear has done its work. The world purrs. The lights stay on. But what if you ask a forbidden question? Not, is fear moral, but is fear functional? The reply arrives like a signature on a contract you didn't know you signed. In large organizations, reliability outruns affection. Dread outruns devotion. And what outruns both is the appearance of harmony, purchased with silent concessions. And in that silence, the truth whispers. You are not asked to worship, only to comply. You are not told to love, only to remain. The velvet glove again and again strokes away your edges until you fit the handle. The iron beneath never rusts. It never tires. It does not need you to adore it. It only needs you to adjust. They told you that wealth was a number, that it could be counted with bright digits and dark ink. But wealth is not a number. Wealth is the permission to define numbers, to declare what counts as value and what dissolves into rumor. You watch how a whisper adds billions before lunch and a headline erases it by dinner. You see a scarce object become priceless not because of its essence, but because someone gates the door and prints a story about a door. The game is not to own the substance. The game is to author the scarcity. And in that silence, the truth whispers. The rich don't merely hold more chips. They write the rules of the table. They don't play harder. They play colder. They don't hustle. They time. They compress risk into instruments and sell the heat to those who crave warmth. They create waiting lists, leak accidental memos, choreograph delay. Shortages bloom on schedule. Desire obeys. But what if markets do not reward truth? What if markets reward coherence? The kind manufactured by repetition and enforced by fear. The fear of missing out. The fear of falling behind. The fear of waking up as the last believer in a vanishing story. Trust, in this world, is stabilized panic. Here's the part no one dares to admit. A price tag is a mirror, and it is your dread of exclusion that looks back. You buy signal. You buy belonging. You buy a seat at a narrative's table. Money changes hands. Story changes minds. Power changes reality. And yet, the truth is darker. The more abstract value becomes, the easier it is to steer with language. When liquidity rises, words become levers. A phrase in a prospectus, a tone in a press statement, a new adjective in a standard. These are micro-valves opening and closing, throttling the flow of belief. And belief is convertible to price. And in that silence, the truth whispers. So the wealthy study perception as carefully as they study spreadsheets. They broker attention. They sponsor the definers. They fund the standards committees, the white papers, the podcasts that narrate reality. Not to lie, to calibrate. Truth is rarely denied outright. It is measured, portioned, framed, made edible. But what if you saw the machine that eats emotion? Markets metabolize feelings, and fear is the easiest nutrient to digest. A small company thrives not because its product is perfect, but because it mastered anticipation. It sells the weight. A luxury brand succeeds not because its materials are rare, but because it engineered a ritual out of entry. The form is simple. If you must ask, you can't afford it. If you aren't certain, you don't belong. And yet, the truth is darker. Scarcity can be faked so well it becomes real. Delay a shipment long enough, and second-hand prices rise. Seed the right influencers, and second-hand reputations rise. Write a policy that protects the community, and competition becomes a rumor. The line between manipulation and management blurs. The crowd doesn't protest. The crowd cues. And in that silence, the truth whispers. Value is a shadow cast by a story. Wealth is the freedom to position the light. The masses chase silhouettes across the wall, convinced that what moves fastest must be most real. But the wealthy stand behind the lamp, tilting, narrowing, widening, then stepping back into the dark. This is the revelation that stains. Money is not merely accumulated. It is architected by narrative and secured by the gentle pressure of fear. The numbers on the ledger are the footprints of a procession you did not see. If you wish to understand wealth, stop watching the parade. Watch the street it takes, the permits that allow it, the silence that greets it as it passes. And in that silence, the truth whispers. Every day, the ritual begins. Badges glow, Passwords unlock. Modules load. You pass through gates of convenience that look like kindness and function like chains. The performance is smooth. The script is long. Everyone knows their lines. You are praised for teamwork. You are measured for compliance. You are scheduled for alignment. None of these words are lies. All of them are nets. In their weave, you move safely, predictably, quietly. Courage is not forbidden. It is postponed. Initiative is not punished. It is routed through forms. And in that silence, the truth whispers. T. He theatre has rules. Ambiguity is weaponized. Responsibility is diffused. Accountability is ritualized. People don't refuse you. They invite you to the next meeting. They don't deny your idea. They ask for more data. They don't reject your urgency. They schedule a review next quarter. The effect is merciful paralysis. You remain innocent. You remain still. But what if helplessness can be learned? What if systems can train you to lower your head preemptively, to speak in a tone that asks permission to exist? The mind adapts. It calls fear professionalism. It calls deference politics. It calls exhaustion maturity. Here's the part no one dares to admit. Meetings are sacraments. They absolve. They transfer the burden of action to the ritual of presence. You were there, therefore you cared. You spoke, therefore you tried. You left, therefore you are safe. And yet, the truth is darker. The chain of command is not a chain. It is a fog. Everyone is following policy, which follows best practice, which follows risk tolerance, which follows leadership intent, which follows market conditions, which follow narratives, which follow no one in particular. The fog protects all. The fog protects none. And in that silence, the truth whispers. So obedience is not forced. It is rehearsed. The stage directions are invisible. Praise shallowly, delay quietly, ambiguate consistently. When someone steps off the script, you don't punish them. You surround them with process. They suffocate politely. The rest of the cast learns to hit their marks. But what if the algorithm learned to fear with you? Dashboards become catechisms. Metrics become commandments. You are not threatened by punishment. You are threatened by falling below a graph. Reputation risk becomes the new plague. To be flagged is to be untouchable. And so you learn the safety of beige. Beige is rewarded. Beige is funded. Beige persists. And yet, the truth is darker. A society of beige still produces winners. Those who master the performance of compliance while retaining a private logic. They nod at the right rhythm. They submit the right forms. But they never let the ritual steal their edge. They are rare. They rise. And in that silence, the truth whispers. The theatre persists because it is anesthetic and absolution in one. It blurs pain into meetings and dilutes guilt into slides. The price is subtle. You stop thinking in edges. You start thinking in rounded corners. Conflict is shortened to misalignment. Betrayal is softened to reorg. Ambition is domesticated as scope. If you've wondered why your progress feels like walking on carpet underwater, this is why. Power has found a way to keep you comfortable enough to remain, anxious enough to obey, hopeful enough to accept the next small promise at the cost of your next sharp thought. And in that silence, the truth whispers. Not conspiracy. Coordination. Not orders. Incentives. The world you inhabit is stitched by invisible agreements. The handshakes that happen in quiet rooms where words like ecosystem, standards, and reputation do the heavy lifting of control. What is the method? Control the bottlenecks. Own the bridges. Sponsor the gatekeepers. Convert favors into protocols. Embed interests into best practices so deeply that arguing against them feels like arguing against safety. And in that silence, the truth whispers. The blueprint is patient. Start with language. Rename scarcity as quality control. Rename censorship as content moderation. Rename paywalls as sustainability. Rename lobbying as education. Language is not merely a wrapper, it is an operating system. Once installed, it routes every future decision. But what if you map the network instead of the headline? You'd see regulators who dine with donors, donors who fund think tanks who publish white papers that become the footnotes of regulation that becomes the gate you must walk through to sell a thought. No one ordered this chain. Everyone benefits from it. Here's the part no one dares to admit. The news is negotiated. Not invented. Negotiated. It is tuned to the tolerances of masters you will never meet. Words are selected for legal safety and psychological effect. A scandal for rivals is a thunderstorm. A breeze for allies is market volatility. The weather is managed. And yet, the truth is darker. When truth threatens to cut, it is not silenced, it is diluted. 1,000 versions flood the channel. Precision drowns in commentary. Outrage fatigues. Moderation returns. The original wound scars over without healing. Confusion is a disinfectant that kills the host. And in that silence, the truth whispers. So strategy is not force. Strategy is friction. Make rebellion administratively expensive. Make clarity reputationally risky. Make independence logistically exhausting. The independent grow tired and call it wisdom. The dependent grow comfortable and call it virtue. The system purrs. But what if the invisible handshake extended into logistics? Routes adjusted so some towns receive abundance and others delay. Search results tuned so some ideas surface and others sink. Terms of service redrafted so some tools remain sharp and others blunt. It looks like 1,000,000 small decisions. It is one design. And yet, the truth is darker. When opposition appears, you do not crush. You congest. You do not ban. You bury. You do not contradict. You cascade alternative facts until the original loses contrast. The public is not silenced. The public is tired. Tired minds give up freedom cheaply. And in that silence, the truth whispers. You begin to see that fear is not a spectacle. It is a maintenance schedule, applied in microdoses, a denied permit, a delayed check, a subtle audit, a whisper about your tone. No event justifies revolt. The aggregate shapes your life. That is the elegance of modern control. 1,000,000 paper cuts, each too small to rage against, all together enough to make you careful. Blueprints like these do not guarantee victory. They guarantee predictability. They don't need you to accept the logic. They need you to accept the fatigue. Once you do, your edges soften, your questions shorten, and your options narrow to 2, comply or explain. And who has the stamina to explain forever? And in that silence, the truth whispers. Clarity looks heroic in stories. In life, it looks like distance. When you begin to see the pattern, you don't rise into applause. You fall out of rhythm. Friends grow careful. Invitations thin. Your calendar is proof that vision is expensive. You start to track your own reflexes. Where did you learn to apologize before speaking? Who taught you to pre-approve your thoughts? How did fear become professionalism, deference become wisdom, beige become safety? You realize the theater you helped run has been staging you. And in that silence, the truth whispers. So you experiment with small betrayals of expectation. You decline the meeting that exists to postpone. You replace 5 paragraphs with 1 sentence. You stop buying the urgency that arrives without accountability. You ask for the author of a policy instead of its title. A private revolution barely visible, painfully felt. But what if the price is exile? It often is. You are not fired. You are cooled. You are not condemned. You are omitted. You are not punished. You're invited to try your brilliance elsewhere. It hurts. It clarifies. You are learning the first lesson of power, to control yourself when the world withholds its warmth. Here's the part no one dares to admit. Power is not dominance over others. Power is the refusal to be steered by your need to be understood. You trade belonging for composure. You trade immediate approval for long horizons. You trade audience for edge. And yet, the truth is darker. Awareness can curdle into paranoia. Detachment can freeze into contempt. Your new posture can become its own theater. So you build guardrails, informational fasts, redundancies of income, circles of competence, contracts you actually read, debts you actually count. You measure your exposure to narratives you did not witness. And in that silence, the truth whispers. Reconstruction begins. You recategorize leverage, not hustle, but position, not noise, but options, not access, but timing. You discover that silence is not absence. Silence is leverage unspent. You learn to wait like a lion in tall grass, still, alert, uninterested in applause. The kill is not the sprint. The kill is the angle. But what if the world never applauds your new clarity? It will not. The machine prefers your older version, impulsive, predictable, praise-hungry. Now you become unreadable. Your edges return. You answer slowly. You make fewer promises. You stop explaining the obvious. You decline politely. You leave without noise. And yet, the truth is darker. Even this posture must pay a tax. Solitude is heavy, but it is cheaper than illusion. You will lose status in rooms that feed on spectacle. You will lose the buzz of being considered. You will gain the quiet of being free. And in that silence, the truth whispers. Application remains. Small, private, unfashionable. You build buffers. You diversify dependencies. You make agreements. You can survive breaking. You document. You set thresholds for yes. You treat news as weather, not scripture. You choose arenas where truth is expensive for others to fake. You maintain the courage to leave. And then the resolution. Awakening is not a triumphant chord. It is a low note that lingers. The world continues its velvet rituals. The iron continues its maintenance. You will not topple towers. You will adjust your posture beneath them. You will stop asking for permission to be clear. You will stop renting fear. And in that silence, the truth whispers, again and again, until it becomes your voice. You've seen how control is designed, not declared. How value is a story with a price tag. How loyalty in the end is often dread in formal dress. If you felt the pattern tonight, it's because part of you was already tracing it. Curiosity brought you here. Clarity will carry you further. If you've come this far, you already sense the cost of sight and the freedom it purchases. This place is for those who choose design over distraction, posture over panic, leverage over noise. Not a crowd, a circle, not hype, a habit of seeing. Stay with us, not for content, but for consciousness. For the rare practice of thinking in angles when the world begs for applause. Each film is a quiet rebellion, each idea a blade kept in a sheath of silence. Subscribe if you're ready to step deeper, because awareness compounds and the returns are paid in autonomy. This isn't an audience. It's an order of observers. If you're ready to keep your edges in a world that sands them down, take your place. We'll be here, where the noise thins, where the design shows, where the velvet glove can no longer fool the hand that wears it.